Hello, homeschoolers. Welcome to the Land of Yak. My name is Laurel. Today is a flip through for Number Stories Book 3. Right, you guys know that I have used Book 1 and Book 2 with my youngest, Bo, and I plan on using Book 3 when the time is right. Let's take a look. So Book 3 is meant to be at the 3rd grade level. It was published in, at least this one that I have, 1934. I have not seen any public domain versions of this, like there is a Book 1 and 2, although that's a later edition. But you can find public domain. You can just print out PDF versions of Books 1 and 2, but I have not seen it for Book 3. So this is, it says, the 3rd grade unit of the primary arithmetic group in the Curriculum Foundation series. This book aims, 1, to develop essential 3rd grade number facts and concepts in a carefully organized series of interesting stories and exercises. 2, to give specific training in interpreting the language of arithmetic. And 3, to build a reading familiarity with the necessary terminology, symbols, and forms. That is something I really like specifically about this series of math books, is the focus on reading comprehension around math, or arithmetic, I should more specifically say. Okay, they do this by the following. 1, subject matter difficulties are not complicated by unnecessary reading difficulties. Simplicity of sentence structure is carefully observed throughout the book. The total vocabulary consists of 900 words, all of suitable difficulty. 2, the book meets the insistent demand of schools for a better adjustment of the arithmetic course of study to the 3rd grade. The most significant change is postponing until the 4th grade the 16 basic multiplication facts with both factors greater than 5 and the corresponding basic division facts. So they're not going to get to that in this book. Sounds like that's something that they were responding to in the market at the time, which seems pretty reasonable to me. Index of arithmetical content and teacher notes. Let's look at the special pages. Let's skip to the back real quick, starting at page 310. Yeah, so this would be the last bit. So it's to the teacher. The remaining pages in this book contain the following supplementary material. Okay. So apparently there's different math methods here. So it says like additive subtraction pages. So there's some pages back here that are to be used in place of pages 108 through 111, 125, 120, and 129 by all teachers who teach subtraction by the additive method. So apparently there's some alternative way to teach those lessons. There's review tests back here, standardized tests on the basic addition and the basic subtraction facts to inventory pupils' mastery of these facts at the outset of the year. Self-help practice, it says, materials for individual study and practice by pupils who show poor mastery of addition and subtraction facts and skills. And a word list, page-by-page list of new words used in this book that were not used in Number Stories Book 1 or Book 2. And then there's some more teacher notes. So here's that alternate lesson, which you could always, it'd be very fun to do it both ways, right? Here's some review tests here. Self-help practice. It says cover the answers for the examples in the first row with a piece of paper. Say the sum for the first example. Move the paper to the right and see if your sum is correct. So the kid can use their book to do something like this, right? 2 plus 7 is 9. Did I get it right? Yeah. They just click that. How to use the self-help tables. I've seen stuff like this on our Right Start Math too. I was like, doing this kind of these graphs with William this year. Okay. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see the pages better. Let's go through. Let's look at the book. So it's 8 chapters, and they have 300. Looks good, like it goes to about page 306 that they are going to work through. There's really beautiful color illustrations. I love it. But look at, there's these little teacher notes. It says, to the teacher, see note 1 in the teacher notes, page 330 to 336. So I would go back to 330. It says the table of contents on page 4 through 7 and the mathematical index on page 327 to 329 show the scope of the material that is presented in this book. What does 327 to 329 look like? Ah, here we go. So there's an index of arithmetical content. So we've got addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, fractions, numbers, measurement, money, comparison, problem solving. This is actually helpful. I will scan this and make it into a PDF, and I will put it in the description box for you guys so you can see the actual like index and all the scope and sequence of the book, because, well, it's the scope. I guess I don't know if it's technically the sequence, because seems to be a spiral method, right? They keep coming back to certain things, but they're getting more leveled up. So, but this will tell you the scope and sequence within addition, within subtraction, right? This is easier to understand than trying to decipher the names of the games and stuff that they're having them do. They'll always have, for every new concept, they'll have like these little stories in them, these little number stories. Here's the first. I'll just read the first one too. This is called Vacation Play. It says, Bobby, aren't you going to get up? It is 7 o'clock, called Father from downstairs. I'm still sleepy, said Bobby. Betty laughed and said, I wouldn't be sleepy today if I were you, Bobby. This is the 3rd day of August, said Mother. Have you ever heard of August 3rd? My birthday, shouted Bobby as he jumped out of bed. I'll be down in 5 minutes. Hurry, said Betty. We have a big surprise for you. In less than 5 minutes, Bobby came running down the stairs. Father caught Bobby as he came into the room. Over my knee you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and one to make you grow, said Father. Bobby laughed. I'm glad I'm not any older, he said. Now, Betty, what is the surprise? Look on top of the clock, she answered. Bobby ran to the clock. On top of it, he found a paper. He laughed as he read it. A riddle, he said. I like riddles. Read it to us. Father and Mother and I like riddles too, said Betty. I am taller than the house, read Bobby. I am the tallest of all. I have very long arms. Under me you will find a birthday present. What is taller than the house and has long arms? Asked Bobby. This must be a joke. No, it isn't, said Mother. You have seen it hundreds of times, Bobby. It is very tall. Oh, I know, cried Bobby. It's a tree. It must be the big tree in the front yard. Bobby ran out of the house. Under the tallest tree in the front yard, he found a little box. This must be it, he said as he opened the box. In the box was a knife from Betty. Thank you, Betty, said Bobby. This is just the knife that I have wanted. Now look up on the tree, Bobby, said Betty. Bobby looked up. On the lowest branch, he saw a paper. He had to use a stick to get it. Look at this funny riddle, he said. They can practice reading their cursive, too. You will find me over the left eye of Father's iron horse. Wouldn't it be funny to see Father ride an iron horse, said Bobby, laughing. I didn't know he had an iron horse. Where can it be? Bobby hunted and hunted, but he could not find the horse. At last he said, I give up. Just then, Bobby saw the car standing in front of the garage. Oh, the car is the iron horse, said Bobby. The headlights are the eyes. On the left headlight, he found a little bag. Money, cried Bobby as he looked in the bag. That's from Grandmother, said Betty. How much money is in the bag? There are 8 nickels here, said Bobby. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Grandmother has given me 40 cents. Grandmother always gives you 5 cents for each year that you are old, said Father. I wish I were 100, said Bobby with a laugh. Here's a letter in the bag, too. He read, Here is another riddle in the upper right drawer of your dresser. Bobby ran into the house and went upstairs. In the upper right drawer of his dresser, he found a riddle. He read it and hurried to the backyard. Here's the riddle, he said, and began to read. I am in the backyard. When you hunt for me, look for something pink that is sometimes put in water. There is a big box for Bobby under me. Watch out, for I like to scratch. What can it be? Asked Bobby. Ducks like to be put in water. I'm going to look for a duck. Betty laughed. I have never seen a pink duck, she said. Kitten, Scratch. It's a kitten, said Bobby. We never put kittens in water, said Betty. Bobby stopped guessing and began to hunt. He looked all over the yard, but he could not find anything pink that is sometimes put in water. Oh, Bobby, can't you see? Said Betty. It is almost near enough to scratch you. Mother's rose bushes, shouted Bobby. One of them has pink roses, and it scratches. Mother puts the roses in water when she picks them. Under the bush was a big box. He opened it. "It's a dart game from Grandfather," he said. "We'll have fun playing with this, Betty." "What's this?" said Betty as she picked up a card that fell out of the box. "Read it, Bobby." "You will find me in my big brother's house," he read. "His house has the widest door and the narrowest window. My brother is taller and wider and longer than I. I am the big surprise." "The big surprise? Where is it?" asked Bobby. "I know," he shouted. "I'll look in the garage." "It has the widest door and the narrowest window." Away he ran to the garage. "Oh, what a surprise," he said. "This is the best bicycle I have ever seen." Bobby was very happy about the bicycle. He took it out of the garage as fast as he could. "If there are any more riddles, you may answer them, Betty," he said, and away he went on his new bicycle. Okay, so you get set up with some sort of type of story, and then they pull elements of the story out for math practice. They've got Bobby's birthday money. First, they're going to work on identifying what coins they are. Then they're going to count money, right? Then they're going to solve riddles. This is so fun. This is so much more fun than the math I had to do in elementary school. They have to do things like make 6 questions that use these words, like bigger, upper left, wider, smallest, most, and fewer. And these are concepts they were introduced to in book 2, because we've been doing this with Bo already. Questions about numbers. On this page and the next page are questions about numbers. Before you can answer them, you must know how to read them. Look at the number at the right. Read it this way: 325. Now read the numbers in each row below. They might already be able to read their numbers by 3rd grade, I would think, but it seems like every book kind of starts kind of on the review side of things. Yeah, which number is largest, which is smallest, what number is missing in each row, which one comes after. There's a lot of number sense still, kind of making sure they have their number sense in order, writing numbers, playing the dart game. Sometimes we try to actually read, with the other books, we've tried to recreate some of the games that they play for the kids in here. They usually have something that you can do that's like really simple that you could recreate at home. I was just doing this different version of this kind of dart game they're playing, but we're doing it outside with our chalk, right? We'd make this grid on the ground with chalk, and we'd use like a beanbag or a rock to throw instead of a dart. But just a way to practice their addition. The answer is called the sum. Helping mother. So you can see there's like a lot of story, and it's like more like real world. They make it more real world, right? Birthday party. So this one, they have a short story, and then they have, the story only goes to here. It says, here are some problems about the peanut butter. They talked about it in here. In each problem, there are some numbers and a question. Sometimes we add the numbers to find the answer. Sometimes we subtract. Read problem 1. John found 6 peanuts and Joe found 2. How many peanuts did they both find? What is the question in this problem? Should we add or subtract to find the answer? What numbers do we use? What is the answer for this problem? Anyway, so yeah, it's just very gentle and leads them through. What I've liked about this series so far, and what seems to be continuing, is how gentle and how there's just lots and lots of practice for each concept. Okay, I'm just gonna flip through the book. You can stop the video and look closer if you want to, right? So one of the pluses to this is it's just very open and go. There's no prep. You just need like a notebook for them to do their work in. And we've just been using an abacus with our previous levels, and like just some actual we have some coin stickers and like just using actual coins. But yeah, this does not call for tons of manipulatives. It doesn't even call for any, but I definitely use my abacus. But there is a fair amount of, eventually they just don't need their abacus as much, so they start knowing the answers in their head. You could add on some drill to this, right, if you wanted to, but I haven't felt the need to do that so far. We're a little more than halfway through book 2. I have a feeling that for me personally, I probably won't be worried about drilling and flashcard drills for the math facts until probably after this book. After this level, just is what I'm thinking feels right when to start those for me. And if you start it at the beginning of the year, I think it kind of follows along with the school year as well, as far as the seasons and what's happening. So I like that about it too. That's fun. Yeah, they just had Thanksgiving. Now they're moving on to A Christmas Story. I like that it teaches them to check their work. We're up to adding 3-digit numbers, subtracting 3-digit numbers. This is an interesting step. I don't think I've seen this very much in other curriculum, but it says problems without numbers. It says you cannot answer these problems. They have no numbers. Just tell if you should add or subtract. So it's having them practice just that first thinking step in a word problem. Joe saved blank cents in October and blank cents in November. How much did he save in both months? And they just have to say, is this going to be an addition or a subtraction problem? up to adding 5 numbers. They have these little quick drills. They're supposed to just answer them, orally real quick. Missing signs. Again, they're going to be like, what makes sense? Is this addition or subtraction? Oh, we're starting to get some fractions, some simple fractions. Home play. Oh, we still have some of these toys, actually. I don't know I forget what they're called. Like little sticks and little round pieces or wooden with the holes you can stick stuff in and build things with them. Call them spools and sticks. We'll definitely get those out when we come to these lessons, have them build this stuff. Here we go, what multiply means. And we're getting to multiplication, the new sign for it. Here's another simple game they have that you could probably, find something to make this game. It's just throwing like something that's a ring, onto a peg. But yeah, it's fun it's also kind of fun to try to like recreate these things with things around the house, because that gives their minds something to work on too. Like, what could we use to recreate this game? Teach the kids to be resourceful and use what they have. I swear, you can make almost anything out of tinfoil, tape, and just like toys you already have. There's something to do with blocks. You guys probably have those around. Some more practice. Ooh, now they're weaving baskets. So again, that's something else. If you wanted to like do a little add-on activity, you could look up, I'm sure online there's directions on how to weave baskets out of construction paper or something. Buying toys. Now they're up to multiplying 2-digit by a 1-digit number, like 32 times 4. Practice and multiplication with carrying. Changing feet to inches. Here comes your review. Finding mistakes. Which examples below have wrong answers? Copy them and find the correct answers. This is cute. It says, can you open the door? This page is the door to a new chapter. You can open the door if you can do the work below. So this is the door to chapter 6. So write the sign that tells us to multiply. A quarter equals how many nickels? A dollar equals how many dimes? Write 491 in figures. Write 909 in figures. In 435, the figure blank means tens. Write $2.05 in figures. Write $15 in figures. Write 8 cents in another way using figures. Clock A shows what time. Clock B shows what time. 1 foot equals how many inches. 1 yard equals how many inches. 1 yard equals how many inches. Oh, 1 yard equals how many feet. 4 yards equals how many feet. 1 something of circle A is black. 1 something of circle B is black. 243 times 3 is blank. And they have some problems down here. Yeah, so if they can do these, then they can progress. I like that they encourage you to stop and not go on until these skills, this knowledge is mastered. Okay, chapter 6. We're on chapter 6 of 8. More making toys. So you can have them make these things, and it says stuff like this, like Sam used how many spools to make all the glasses? These are supposed to be look like glasses, I guess. How many spools are in each one? The spools are divided into how many twos? How many twos are in 16? Here, dividing by 2, multiply by 2, divide by 2. Now we're going at doing 4s and 8s. How many 4s in 8? Dividing things into equal groups. Yeah, so I guess we saw the demarcation test there. They don't want them moving on to this multiplication until this in division until they had mastered the previous stuff. I love this book more every time I look at it. I swear. Division with something left over. Talk about remainders. Playing store. Okay, here's another one of those. Can you open the door? Chapter 7. Did they have those at every single one and I just didn't notice? 6. Yeah, they did. It looks like they did. I just didn't notice it before. A school program. We're up to carrying twice in multiplication. Making picture books. Pints, quarts, and gallons. It's always fun to, and then do some baking with them. Planting a garden. Checking division with remainders. The end of winter. Springtime. So they've definitely got into some fractions in that last chapter. This is the last chapter of the book. It's a spring theme going on. Multiplication practice, division. See, they're kind of getting into some Yeah, like finding the missing factor. Carrying. Quick drill. Telling time. Division. Oh, reading library books. Divided by 5. Dividing large numbers by 5. Looks like they're adding money. What number is missing? Baseball game story. Earning vacation money. Dividing money. Practice with measures. Another number drill. What have you learned? That's a fun one. The minus sign tells us to, right? There's kind of like, it's kind of like a quiz. The what have you learned? And then there's part 2. And that's the end. Okay. The end. Okay. Well, I hope that was helpful. If you were curious about Number Stories Book 3, yeah, check the box for the contents. I'm going to put in a PDF for you, and let me know if you have any questions or anything you want me to look up for you in here. Okay. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.